All right. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Sigh of Relief. I'm Tony, and joining me is Kiya. Kiya, what's going on? How's your weekend? How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. As you can see, I have a little glow, a little tan.
Okay.
We got some sun
Okay.
this weekend.
Okay. Okay.
How was your
Now you a
weekend?
now you a chocolate sister now.
Exactly. I had to leave my browniness behind.
Okay. Yeah. I need to get some sun. Only sun I've been getting is like walking to the barber shop, and that's like 10 minutes there and 10 minutes back. But I haven't touched my pool yet, so maybe I need to try to go visit the pool sometime this week or this weekend.
It's hot enough
Yeah,
to
but
at
the
least
weather's been
lounge.
Yeah, it's been up and down. Like I think it rained for the past 2 days and now it's dry. And I think it's supposed to rain again Wednesday. So it's been up and down. But I notice every time I go to like the community area and I go to the gym, regardless if it's raining, there's still people at the pool. They're just sitting by the pool and it's drizzling. I guess they don't care. So
They're trying to catch whatever sun rays they
yeah,
can to get in
exactly.
out early.
Whatever you're right, right. Whatever sun they can get before, the next vacation or whatever, they want to make sure that that base tan is in there. So
Yes.
yeah, but other than that, weekend, watch NBA playoffs, watch the draft, of course, the first round at least. Um, it's really doing. I didn't. Was I in the streets this weekend?
You said you
No.
were going out on Friday.
So
You
I
didn't go
wanted
out.
to go out. No, I didn't go out because I didn't want to drive. So I wanted to go to this new steakhouse, and I didn't. And I didn't go. So I may go this weekend. So depending on what I'm doing, I may go this weekend. I didn't want to drive like a half an hour. So
I'm surprised. Steakhouse and barbecue is your thing. So surprised
oh
you didn't
yeah,
make it out.
steakhouse, barbecue, and fried chicken. So
And fried
you,
chicken.
you
Correct.
can't
Correct.
forget about
I
the
forgot
chicken. You
that.
cannot forget. Yeah, you cannot forget about the chicken. So and the chicken, I've been getting too much of it. I've probably been eating way too much. So I got to slow down. I don't want to. I don't want to. Consume 60 wings in a week. That's too many. So
You gonna turn into a
so
piece of chicken?
right, right. I'm gonna be crispy piece of chicken. So you say you got your hair done. You got a glow. You got a tan. What else did you do?
I didn't say got my hair done.
Well, I noticed you got your hair done. America
Thanks. I'm
noticed you
like,
got your hair done.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I did get a tan. I did a month-long birthday, like you said. After you said,
Right.
I was like, I
We
should
got a,
just
we got
keep
a,
telling my
we got a
birthday,
few more days
celebrating.
left for your birthday. So we got a few more
Yes,
days.
because I milked it today too. But I
Mhm.
went to Cayman Islands this week. Well, the Cayman Islands this weekend.
Okay. Oh,
um,
tell us more about that. You haven't been yet.
Beautiful, gorgeous blue
Mhm.
water. Like you could
Mhm.
literally pick up water in a water bottle and it'll be crystal clear, like it's
Oh
drinking
wow.
water.
Oh wow.
Beautiful, very relaxed, not a nightclub type of turn up.
Mhm.
Very like the nicest people probably anywhere I visited. Made a lot of
Nice.
friends, a lot of acquaintances.
Okay.
Just overall very good. The food could have been a little bit better, but other than that,
That
cannot
sounds
complain.
good. Yeah.
And I
So
got a
you
tan,
meant
so we love it.
okay. Right. 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 And did you jump off any boats? Because you like to jump off boats.
I did. Next time we'll
Okay.
have to show that. Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
Snorkeling,
Okay.
almost. Yeah, I'm not a great snorkeler. I need to practice that some
Right.
more.
Especially if you're gonna jump off a
Um,
boat, you got to make sure you know how to navigate the water. If you jump off the boat.
yes. Swimming with stingrays. We did a lot. That was very scary.
Hmm.
I probably would not do that again.
Yeah. You gotta be
But
careful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah. I mean, you got to. That's better than me hitting the street. So you got to. Yeah. That's very exciting. You mentioned the food. I know the times I visited the Caribbean, I really didn't enjoy the food. That's one thing I can say. The people were amazing, they were nice, but I just didn't enjoy the food. Um,
Usually
so
I
yeah.
love the food though. That's the thing. Like I love jerk chicken. I love
Mhm.
whole fried fish. Like I love usually Caribbean food, but they don't really have. So if you would guess what their national dish is, what would you guess it is?
Plantains.
I didn't have a plantain once while I was there, but their national dish is turtle soup or turtle. No, I think it's turtle soup,
Okay.
but
I've heard of it.
they eat
I've heard of it.
turtles.
So did you eat some?
I did not. I am
That's why
very
you can't
adventurous with
snorkel. How you
food,
gonna learn how to
but
snorkel? You can't. You got to eat the turtle to learn how to swim like the turtle.
this is true. I'm very adventurous when it comes to food, but turtles was I love the turtles. That's why I don't like drinking out plastic straws. What did I say the turtles? We can be eating them.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. So yeah, eat them turtles. It's plenty enough. There's plenty of turtles to go around. You eat one, I eat one. Maybe I can fry some with the chicken.
You
So
eat
eat them
one, I
turtles.
eat none. But
Yeah.
we'll leave that up to you.
I mean, that's an amazing weekend trip. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to make my way down there. I still haven't visited. What's the party island down there? Um,
Jamaica
Not Jamaica.
is right
I
next to
think Aruba.
Cayman.
Is
Okay.
it Aruba or Virgin Islands?
Maybe the Virgin Islands. I think
Okay.
Aruba is also kind of chill. I haven't been to Aruba either.
Okay. Yeah. So I need to. And the Caribbean is like literally a few hours away, direct flights from
So
the
close.
south. Yeah. So I need to definitely plan some of those trips. I know I texted you a few days ago asking you about Europe because I'm trying to plan my, European getaway. So that's still in the works for my birthday month. So you know, when I celebrate my
Good.
birthday for the whole month, I may be in Europe for about 2 weeks. So
Yes. But you
yeah.
have a perfect birthday for Europe because it's obviously not always hot there.
Mhm,
The Caribbean, you can, kind of stretch it a little bit, but
mhm.
that'll be perfect because you obviously don't want to go when it's raining and cold and snowing, depending on where you
Right.
go. Unless you're
Right.
into that, you may like
No.
snow.
No.
Okay,
Right.
snowcations,
I'm
but
not. I'm not. I'm not into anything that's below 70 degrees. If it's below
70,
70
yes.
degrees, I'm not. I'm not into it.
Say,
Right.
I do not want to go anywhere where it's 12
Right.
degrees. Please, no,
Mhm,
thank
mhm.
you.
So yeah, I was looking at the countries I want to visit because I'm gonna try to make it a multi country trip. So I was
Yes.
looking at like Spain, Portugal, Italy, and probably Croatia.
Ooh,
And
okay.
so I'm over here, doing the research. All this stuff sounds good when it's in your head, but when it's time to
Yeah.
pay, you put four countries on
Right.
your schedule, and then you start looking at hotel costs, and you start looking at,
Yes.
the train to fly to other countries, and the total comes back you're like, what? Oh no,
Yes.
I can't visit four countries. I can only visit three. Oh, I can't visit three countries. I can
Yeah.
only visit two. So I'm still playing with it, but I need to hurry up and book it before it's too late because summer is right around
Yep.
the corner, and that's like their peak season for a lot of European
Mhm.
travel.
So for me, it isn't the obviously the cost plays a factor, right? We don't have unlimited amounts of money, but are you the type of person to if you plan 4 different countries, and I'm gonna assume you're doing this in a week or two, but are you the
About two
kind of
weeks.
person that okay, okay, so that's a lot of time. But are you the kind of person that'll wake up and kind of regret fitting in 4 different places in a short amount of time, or you'll stick to your guns?
No, so I like having a structured itinerary. So I like to
Okay.
wake up, go do some of the free stuff, go meet some of the other people who are visiting from other countries, like free
Hmm.
walking tours, um, going to the nice dinner spots, the nice restaurants. Of course, doing a tourist sightseeing, typical things that every
Hmm.
tourist does, and then also exploring the nightlife. Of course, it's probably not the best to be out at a club at 2 a.m. in the morning at a foreign country, but I like to do it. I also like to
Yeah.
visit the malls wherever I go, whether I'm visiting a city in the United
Okay.
States or a country. I like to see the malls because it just lets me know what are the average people dressing like, what are the average people doing in this country, and just get
Hmm.
a vibe and a sense of what's going on within the culture by just visiting a mall and seeing what's up.
Okay. See, I think we're opposite in that because I don't like to go to the mall where I live. I don't want to go to the mall outside of the country unless I need to buy something.
Mhm,
And I am not structured. I'm kind of just like, okay, I want to do this
mhm,
today, or oh, I plan to do this. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm very,
mhm,
very type B, so
mhm.
I think we're a little
And
bit
I'm the
different.
Yeah, I'm the same way when it comes to malls at home. I hate going to the mall. And when I do go to a local mall, I go early in the morning, 9:30, 10
Yeah,
o'clock when they first open.
right.
I can walk around, purchase what I need to purchase. I can park right close to the doors,
Yes.
get in, get out, already have a list of what I want to do and what I want to buy. I don't really like trying on clothes. So if I can't fit the clothes, I'll just take them
I'm the
back at another
opposite.
time. Yeah. So
No. No,
I like to use my mirror to try on clothes. I don't want to use their mirrors
no.
because they got funny mirrors. I need to look at I need to look at my
That's
mirrors. I
two
need to
tricks. That's two
The
tricks
mall is only
though.
what if it's not rush hours early in the morning, I can get to the mall in probably 15, 20 minutes.
I don't
I
care if it
still
was
got
2 minutes.
I still got clothes in my closet that I need to return to the mall. I need to return before they tell me
Mm-mm.
90 days then
Mhm.
already passed and I have to keep it. And so luckily
Right.
it's just a sweater so I can wear it next year, but I need to return it. Definitely need to return it sometime soon. So yeah,
I'll remind
so
you next week.
yeah, I'm gonna need some reminding. That thing been sitting in there for about a month, probably over a month. So yeah, so the European travel, hopefully I can book that sometime in the next week or two. And I don't know about coming back with a tan, but I'll definitely come back with some stories.
Hey, you may come back with a little something, something. But yes,
Right. I'm
a
a
story if you're going to visit 4 different
right.
places. I'm excited to hear
Yeah.
about
Right. I might come back to your complexion. You're golden though. You got a little,
that.
you know, golden glow to you. So
I'll be peeling in the next couple of days. So
oh
we'll see
yeah.
how that
Luckily
looks.
you're not. I don't know if you're itching or get that stingy feeling. I remember I went to New Orleans once in the middle of summer and I did a 2-hour bike tour and
Hmm.
I had no sunscreen on and my whole face was peeling. My
Yeah.
lips felt like somebody took like needles and just poked them. Like
Hmm.
it was painful. Like I had a tan for months. I mean, it was really bad. It was it was bad. So
Oh, wow. Well,
yeah,
let's hope that that does not happen to me because, yeah,
yeah,
it's not fun.
yeah, yeah. So if we see you next week, with ointment all over your face, we
That's
know
why I
you're
don't want to hear it.
yeah, we know you suffering. So, all right, so let's get into our first story. So, I don't know if you heard about this story. I don't even know if you shop at this place, but Walmart has some new anti-theft measures. Recently, Walmart customers have expressed frustration after discovering that certain meat products in their stores are now secured behind metal wire cages in some locations. And so Walmart has begun like an anti-theft measure to basically lock certain meats up behind a like wire mesh cage. And a lot of this has started going viral recently over the past week because somebody recorded this on TikTok and posted it online. And a lot of people have been chirping about it, leaving comments talking about how they're not happy with Walmart. So I just want to I don't know if you shop at Walmart. Have you heard about this? Have you seen this on TikTok?
I have not seen this. I do
Mhm.
not buy meat at Walmart.
Okay.
Fun fact about me, I am very picky when it comes to meat.
Mhm.
I feel like, and you tell me if you agree with this,
Mhm.
but I feel like chicken, I'll use chicken as the example. Chicken does not taste the same from when we were kids. I feel like
Nothing
chicken,
tastes the same.
okay, this could
I
be
mean,
true,
fruit
but
don't taste
meat,
the same.
I've
A
never
Kit
really thought
Kat bar
about
doesn't
that,
taste the
but
same. Like nothing tastes the same.
okay. But something process changing, like them changing the recipe of something, that makes sense to
Mhm.
me. You can't change the recipe of chicken. Chicken should taste the same. The taste of it should not change. But I'm very picky about meat. So obviously I understand, people typically go to Walmart for
Mhm.
the cost.
Yeah.
And probably convenience depending upon where you live as well. Um, but I wonder if social media had an impact on them locking up the meat because
Mhm.
I have actually seen several videos on social media of people saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go steal out of Walmart. I'm gonna go, make this meal a $10 meal." So I it kind of reminds me of the people who sneak stuff onto cruise ships. So they'll have like a shampoo bottle. It'll be a fake shampoo bottle, and then they put adult beverages in the shampoo bottle and
Adult
into
beverages
mouthwash
like Kool-Aid or
adult beverages like 21
I know
up.
what you got you. Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
um, so it
Juicy
kind of
juice.
reminds me of that. Yes, exactly. It
Right.
reminds me of that because yes, people could be stealing, and their profit margins are low, and maybe that's why they're doing it. But I feel like social media probably plays a role too because people are just very outwardly saying, "Okay, I'm going to go in here and steal this pack of meat."
Right, right. I
Do
never
I
thought about that.
agree? Do I agree with them locking up the meat? No, because I'm already irritated that they lock up shampoo and eyelashes and
body
mascara.
wash, soap,
Yes, it's so irritating.
cigarettes, everything, baby formula, everything's
Right.
Pampers, everything's locked up at certain location. But it depends about what depends on what location you go to.
Location.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you go to a location that's like heavy foot traffic in a nice part of town, they don't really lock
It's
up
not locked
anything.
up.
But
Right.
if you go to the
Right.
wrong location, they'll lock the store doors. You got to ring the doorbell to come in because they got security in there, police officers
Facts.
in there. And so, yeah, I was recently at a
Yeah.
grocery store a few days ago, and I don't see like police officers at my local grocery store, but I went to another
Hmm.
location. There was a police officer in there. It was security in
Yep.
there, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? But
Yeah.
apparently, people are in there. They're still in the meat. They're still in the
Hmm.
baby formula. They're still in the body wash and the eyelashes. So they have to take those measures. Um, and
Uh,
it's
but
it's annoying.
that
It's annoying.
I feel like there's another way they could have done it though. Like,
Yeah.
you know how they have the seafood in a like glass window, like you
Yeah.
can't steal the seafood. Why didn't they do like I feel like in the corporate world we say user experience, right? I feel
Mhm.
like the user experience is very important. I
Mhm.
wouldn't even buy meat or frequent somewhere where I gotta ask, can you take the lock off the meat? Like that's a terrible experience for the consumer. So I think they need to take that one back to corporate and think of another way to
Yeah, like I said,
market it.
it's at certain locations, and I'm pretty sure they measure how it affects the sales, and if it doesn't affect the sales, they're going to continue locking it up. Um,
You don't think
spec-
it will affect the sales though?
well, apparently these folks ain't been buying to begin with. It they still in the meat. So the chicken you
Okay,
talked about, the steak you talking about, they're not
good
buying it.
point.
So I mean, you got to imagine if I put out 50 ribeyes or frozen or cold ribeyes, and I only sell 10, and all the ribeyes are gone. Somebody's been stealing them. So
Yeah,
we'll definitely see how Walmart and a lot of these other retail stores uh, address this going forward. But I've seen deodorant locked up. I've seen adult protection locked up. Like I said,
oh
baby
yeah,
formula.
oh yeah.
Like, and then when you ask them, like, "Hey, why are you guys locking this up?" They're like, "Oh, people steal it." In my mind, I'm like, "Why are you stealing deodorant?" But a lot of people, I guess they call themselves boosters or whatever, local
Hmm.
hypes. You know, they take all the deodorant, take the baby formula, and they go on the street and they sell it. So, but
But
like you
people
said,
steal from everywhere. Walmart is not the only grocery store where people steal from. People also steal from Target. You don't see Target
good.
um locking up their stuff. You don't see Target locking up their stuff, and I don't think you would ever see Target locking up their stuff because
Mhm,
Target has a certain image to uphold, and it doesn't
mhm.
look good them locking up 90% of their items like Walmart does.
Right. So there was a social media influencer. I don't know what city it was. She literally went to Target, went to self checkout, and started scanning a bunch of items, and like
Mhm.
took more than she scanned. And she documented this on her TikTok. And so that's
Mhm.
how the local police were able to catch her, just because she put it on TikTok. Her stealing. Like if you're gonna steal, don't tell nobody, especially
Yeah,
don't tell the
I
world
don't
and go
get
on
it.
TikTok. But
Right,
and it's funny because everybody thought she was like, rich because everybody see these influencers online and
right,
assume that they have these amazing lifestyles, but they're just average people and they're
right.
trying to get by, on these ribeyes the
Yep,
same way everybody else trying to get by on these ribeyes.
exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah, but that's when I saw that story, I'm like, meat. So now we go from
Right.
deodorant, eyelashes. I'm pretty sure
Just
they're gonna
lock
do
the
makeup.
store up.
Yeah, that's what I said. You're gonna ring the doorbell and you're gonna ask them, "Can I come in?" And they're gonna tell you one at a time.
No.
And I'm pretty sure you've seen those gas stations. I don't know if they still exist, where you got to walk up to a glass. You got to point out what you want.
Yep.
Like you can't even go in. You got to like, point, I want that. I want that. I want
Yep.
that bag of chips. I need those cigarettes. And then they put them in a
Midwest.
little, yeah. They put them in a,
That's straight up Midwest.
put them in that little, you know, compartment, and they rotate it around. and then they stick the
Mhm.
card machine. You got to tap your
Yeah.
card through the. It's just too much work. I wouldn't even want to shop there. I
Me
wouldn't even want to
neither.
shop there. So,
I don't want to ask, hey, cashier, whomever, can you please unlock the steak for me?
and
Like,
some of these
no, I don't
stores,
need it.
some of these stores are bad. Like when you press the button to call an associate, nobody comes.
Yep,
Like no
exactly.
one will
Especially at
come.
Walmart.
To come. And I've seen it where people they don't come, and so the little glass they have, people will just stick their arms through it and like take what they want and go to the front because I'm not about to wait
That
20
defeats the
minutes
purpose.
if I need a stick of deodorant. Like I want to
Right.
go in, get the deodorant, and leave. I don't want to sit in there, like I said, for
Exactly.
too long.
Agreed.
Like
I agree.
it defeats the purpose. So check the story out. So last week, a Brinks truck in Chicago accidentally lost 3 bags of cash when its back doors open. Once the doors open, over $300,000 in cash was stolen by about, I think it said 75 to 100 people. So basically, those
Okay.
people saw an early Christmas. They stole $300,000 in cash and they fled the scene. Uh, have you heard the story or you seen the story online?
No, they went into the Brinks truck or the money like
The money came
flooded
out.
out.
Apparently,
Okay.
the money came out as the
Is
truck
that
was
stealing?
driving away. I don't know if it's stealing, but I've seen a truck like drop pennies on a road, and the police shut the
Mm.
road down
Well,
because
nobody's picking up pennies.
it's somebody's money. But when you're talking about $100 bills or 50s or
Yeah.
20s, people are gonna come out of nowhere.
Right.
People gonna come
And
out of
that's
nowhere.
why that's why I'm asking is if it's illegal because I need to
Yes,
know in
stealing
case
is
I'm the
illegal.
car.
Stealing is illegal. Yes.
I know stealing is, but is it is that considered stealing?
Yeah, somebody's.
Yeah.
It's not free money. It's somebody. So imagine if you have a business or a bank. Let's say I'm Brinks and I'm going to Kiya LLC to pick up the $300,000 you made. If I drop that money, you don't want nobody stealing it.
But is it stealing? Okay, if I drop a $20 bill on the sidewalk and then I get in my car and from my car I see somebody pick up the 20 that I had in my pocket, that's
Mhm.
not stealing. Like I dropped it, they picked it up
Yeah, well, you do have a point.
and they kept it pushing. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not saying that if Brinks asks for the money back, the people shouldn't give it to him. But hey, I need to know because if I'm behind a Brinks truck and money start, flying out, I
Okay.
can't say that I wouldn't pick it up. Just
Right.
saying.
So if we don't see you next episode, that Brinks truck dropped 300,000 in front of you, and you took it and you
And I
left.
picked it up.
but
75
but
people. I'm not good at math. 300,000 divided by 75. I don't know what that is, but
let me
that's a
see.
pretty little chunk of change to just be driving
And,
around
and- and like
town.
and like we talked about last week, student loan payments are due, so
Yeah.
folks can
Yep.
use it to pay their student loan payments.
They're about to use it to book a trip somewhere, which I don't
So
blame them.
right, they're gonna be in the same island that you visited. Matter of fact, did you steal the
Mm-mm.
money?
I didn't.
Okay, because you come
Don't
back with
come
a
looking for
10.
me.
Is that a new shirt?
This is an old shirt.
No, it don't look old
They,
to me. It
I
look
don't
new.
need them looking for me.
It look new. It look new to me.
I wasn't
So
wherever the Brinks truck was at.
so I just did quick math, and let's say if it's 75 people and everybody took an equal amount, it's about
Mhm.
$4,000. So it ain't that
Uh,
much money.
that ain't
So
even
I mean,
that ain't even worth going to jail
yeah,
over.
yeah, it ain't worth going to jail. Now, if the whole bag of money fell on
Hmm.
my car and I rolled down a window and it fell on my lap
Right,
and I drove home at a
a few hundred.
different, but yeah, going to jail for 4,000. Well, it ain't even about going to jail because you got to imagine if somebody sees money falling out of a Brinks truck and one person sees it, two people are going to see it, 10 people,
Yep.
like people are going to fight, especially if
Oh
it's a
yeah,
limited amount and it's 300,000.
for
Oh,
sure,
somebody's going to push somebody. Somebody's going to punch somebody to take
for sure.
a few $100. Like, so you and I, we work, luckily, we're gainfully
Hmm.
employed. $4,000, we can go to work and make that over the next, pay period or pay periods. But
Hmm.
if you ain't got much, $4,000, yeah, give me that.
Yeah, no, very
Give
true,
me
very
that.
true. Some people are
Give me
penny
that.
pinchers, so they could have a lot of money and still want the 4,000. So
Right,
I get it.
right. So, speaking of, losing a dollar or losing $20 that you get in your car, what's the last thing you found, or what's the biggest thing you've ever found?
That I found
Mhm.
a couple dollars, maybe $5. I've
Okay.
never been lucky enough to find
Mhm,
anything like worth bragging about, but I
mhm.
am notorious for losing money. I lose
Oh, yeah, we
everything.
know. You
We talk,
talked about, I
yeah,
think, 2
we
weeks
had this
ago, you were losing
conversation.
stuff. You lost your Apple Watch.
Yep. I've lost 20. I mean, I don't think I've ever lost $100 bill, but I've
Mhm,
lost some 20s. I probably
mhm.
lost at least a couple $100 just from dropping 20s. That's why I don't carry cash anymore. So
Right,
just
right.
so everybody knows, I don't carry cash at all.
So, what's the most expensive thing you've lost besides the Apple Watch? I assume that costs a few $100s.
I've lost jewelry that people have gifted me, unfortunately. I've
Oh,
been really bad at that since I've been a kid. One of the first pieces of jewelry I remember dropping was like a Mickey Mouse watch that my grandpa got me.
oh, not
Um,
granddaddy.
I know. Rest in peace. I've lost, which I know is somewhere in my house, but I have like these Tiffany necklace charms, which are not cheap, that my parents got me. That
Mhm.
will probably be the most sentimental thing that I can't find right now.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I lose a lot of stuff. I would lose
Yeah,
my behind if it wasn't attached to me, honestly.
right. What did you lose over the weekend while you were, vacationing?
Well, I haven't unpacked, which is unlike me. That's how you know that I'm tired.
You lost something.
It's been a long weekend. But yes, we'll see once I unpack if I lost anything.
You probably left your shoes.
I might have. That
Yeah,
would be on brand
you
for
know
me
you
too.
lose shoes too.
I do.
Right. So, I don't
And you
lose
have
much,
lost
and I think,
nothing
yeah,
ever.
I don't lose anything. I don't find anything. I don't have any luck when it comes to that. I wish maybe I need to start losing stuff so I can find something. But,
I don't
of
think
course,
so.
like most people, we always find our own money in our pockets when we're doing laundry or
Yes.
when we're just, like,
Oh yeah.
putting on some old clothes. Um, when I was a kid, I'll never forget this. My mother and we were in a dollar store. You a kid, so a dollar store is massive. Like, you can get anything
Hmm.
you want if you're a kid. And so I was in there with my mom and I found a dollar. So imagine finding a dollar in a dollar store. Like, I was so
Yeah.
excited. Like, I didn't know what to buy. I could buy anything in the store. So these are dollar stores back in the day, not today's dollar stores where
The
nothing
real
costs.
dollar
The
stores,
real dollar
right?
stores. So it was like, yo, I found a dollar in the dollar store. Like, I didn't even know what to buy. And that's the only thing I've ever found in my
I
life.
wish I knew what you did buy. I'm sure it was a toy, like some
A
type of
toy or some
cheap
candy.
toy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because back then you can go to the dollar store and get like a king size payday
Hmm.
for $1. And so I haven't been in a dollar
Ew. Payday? That's the
payday.
nastiest candy on the market.
No, no, no,
Oh wait,
no. Paydays are
no.
good.
Paydays are good. I'm thinking almond joy. That's what I was thinking. Those
Yeah,
are
I don't like almond joy. I think that's for like
nasty.
senior citizens or something. I don't know. Coconut and almonds. No way. Like Snickers, payday. Yeah, I could eat those.
Okay.
100 grand. I don't even know if they still make 100 grand.
Loved
Um,
100-gram bars.
yeah. So, and my mom, I think she used to work at like a factory that made a lot of this candy. And so
Hmm.
when we used to go in her house, all you smell was chocolate. It just smelled
Ah,
like chocolate. And she would
I love that.
always offer, "Hey, do you want some of this? Do you want some of that?" I'm like, "No," because you get tired of eating it after a while.
Yeah. Right.
So, but the
Right.
whole house smelled like chocolate.
Oh,
So
I could tear up a Butterfinger right now. I love
they
Butterfinger too.
like we said, the stuff from our childhood doesn't taste the same. They're using
Yeah, that's true.
different ingredients in the chocolate. With the chicken, you said the chicken don't taste the same. They probably feeding the chicken different feed. Um, the,
And probably Butterfingers.
yeah,
Might be giving the chickens whatever.
not even giving the chicken Butterfingers. They giving them the Butterfinger wrappers, and they just eating plastic.
They're right.
So that's the
This is
reason why they
true
taste
though.
funny. That's the reason why they taste so funny. So yeah. So check out this other story. So the next two stories we're going to talk about are related to Gen Z and millennials. The first story is around Gen Z and millennials. They're struggling to uh, work with. They're finding it very difficult to work with their coworkers who are from older generations. So Fortune magazine recently published an article that discussed a recent study that highlighted the challenges that Gen Z and millennials faced in collaborating with older generations at work. One of the key takeaways was that younger employees often experience lower productivity and job satisfaction when being managed by someone that's 12 years their senior. Have you ever dealt with this yourself, working with someone that was much older than you and you just did not connect with them, or you didn't see eye to eye?
Yeah, I think 12 years is being frugal. Let's talk 20, 30. Let's talk about
Yeah,
that gap.
yeah.
Um, yes, and I want to highlight that this is a conversation that I've had with other people before, but I want to highlight that I think a big portion of that issue is because a lot of people are not able to retire at 65. I think that we're seeing a lot of people stay in the workforce a lot longer.
Mhm. Until
Um,
they die.
so
That's their retirement plan. Stay there
yeah,
until
yes.
they're dead. Yeah. So
Or they're late 70s, early 80s, mid 80s. Like that's a long time to be working if you have been working since you were, for some people, 16. I've been working since I was 17. But
mhm,
um, yes, all that to say, I have experienced that. And as someone who has, in majority of my roles, typically had or reported to someone who was closer to me in age, it does make a difference.
mhm,
Aside from, managing you and, doing your one on ones, when you're able to relate to, the person who you're reporting to, I think that it does help that relationship because, yes, you can have um, a professional relationship with your boss, but we're there 40 hours a week. I think that we do need to be able to relate to that person some kind of way and, joke and laugh, and everything can't be business all the time.
right.
So I definitely see, especially with the Gen Zers, why they would feel that way. I think kind of for millennials, we've been kind of just taught to, shut up, suffer, whatever. That is what work life is. Gen Z tends to, call things out a lot more. And if they don't want to do something, they're not going to do it. Um, I'm not talking about Gen X, am I? Gen Z is under
Gen Z
us.
are the 20 somethings.
Right. Okay.
Millennials are the 30 somethings.
Yes. Okay. So all that to say, I mean, I've seen it, and I believe that the younger generation will call it out and hopefully find some solutions to it. But what
Yeah.
are your feelings about it? Like, have you had a boss where you couldn't relate and it made it work life harder for you?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I could say yes. A lot of this stuff is not even work related. It's just cultural. Uh,
Yep.
Imagine
So true.
working with someone that's old enough to be your parent or your grandparent or one of your
Yep.
mom's brothers or sisters. Like their way
Hmm.
of seeing things is
Totally
not your
different.
way of seeing things.
Mm-mm.
One of the key takeaways from the story was that let's see, researchers noticed that the bigger reason for this difference is the working styles and the style of communication. And
Yes.
so, but like I said, a lot of this stuff is not work related with me from my past. I've had a manager ask me like personal stuff, like, "Why aren't you married? Like, why are you asking me that?"
Oh,
But but that's coming
that's an
from
odd
somebody that
question.
yeah, but that's coming from somebody that's older who their expectation in their generation or everyone in their generation was married.
Hmm.
So they looking at somebody younger like, "Yeah, I was married at 21. Why didn't you get married at 21?" Uh,
Yeah.
but luckily now, my manager he's probably only a few years older than me.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a huge difference.
Yes.
Um, let's see. So my last few managers have been, somewhat closer to my age and have a really good way of communicating. So it hasn't been a huge deal. But in the past,
Hmm.
yeah, I've had, people that I've reported to, and they're like, it's a huge disconnect when it comes to communication.
Yes.
A huge disconnect.
And for me, I think it's more so like the daily, because you do get to know people the longer you work with them, right?
Mhm.
For me, I think it's more so the conversational piece. Like you all can be, talking about something, and their conversations are about their kids, their
Mm.
family, stuff that I don't have
You
going
don't care
on.
about.
Like my conversations are, oh, I'm waking up today and I'm going to Cayman Islands.
Right, right, right.
I went out and I had 12 adult beverages last night. My head hurt today. The conversations are just different. So I find it to be a very hard time connecting then too, because I'm like, I don't know what to talk about because my life
Mhm.
just looks a little bit different. So
Yeah, the life is
um,
different because you imagine some folks when they're your age, they've already been married for 7 years. When they were our age, they had been married
20,
since 20, and so their life, like you said, it's work, go home,
right?
play
Yep.
with bad kids, uh, look at their
Grandkids.
spouse. Yeah, look at their spouse, talk about something boring, get in bed and do it again. I mean, no, that's what a lot of people do. Because you imagine
Yes.
a lot of couples, I don't know how your parents are, but if you've been married for 15, 20, 30 years, a lot of these couples ain't going on dates. They're not
Yep.
going to the Cayman Islands. They're not coming back with new blouses. They're not finding $300,000 in the back of a truck. Like they're
Right.
not doing this stuff. Like it's the same boring schedule every day. And it's also a lot of stress because once you start having kids, not just one
Yes.
kid, but if you got 4 or 5 kids
That's true.
and all they do is eat and grow and annoy you and beg for money, you're stressed about
Right.
it because you can no longer do things for yourself.
Yeah.
You have to do for other people. And so imagine I'm tired of dealing with what I have going on at home. And then I have to go to work and be like, why is Kaya so dark? Hey Kaya, are you okay? And you smiling. I just came back from the Cayman Islands. Like,
Right.
so,
And they're like, "Ah, really? I had to
yeah,
deal with my little
yeah,
baby Tom
yeah.
screaming all weekend."
Yeah. And so, yeah, and then they just, a lot of times older folks who are living that life, they just think that, oh, you're not responsible. Look how you're living your life. Even though you
Yep.
living your best life, you living a life you want to live, and they're living a life they chose, and they may not
And that's
be
a life they want to live
happy.
too.
They may not be happy with the result. So
Yes. I agree.
yeah.
Definitely
So
agree.
yeah, but enjoy your life. I had a conversation with one of my coworkers today. I think he has about 4 children. And I told him like, "Hey, man, it sounds like you need a spring break from being a dad. You
Right. Yeah.
got 4 kids, and you're taking them
So
to
true.
practice. You're driving them around. You're doing homework with them. You want to make sure they can read and write at the appropriate grade levels. That's an all day job. And so,
Yes.
like I
Whew.
said, when you come into the office and you're smiling and glowing, like people are like, oh, it must be nice, and
Hmm.
they really with you on. So, but that was a good story. So the next story is also related to 20 somethings. And so it's about the 4 million Gen Zers that are still considered unemployed. So about 20% of 20 somethings are becoming or are considered unemployed and not in school. This group is facing lower earnings, higher debt compared to the previous generations due to economic struggles, and many 20 somethings don't value college education the way previous generations valued it. So a
I
lot of
wouldn't
20
either.
somethings are, yeah, a lot of 20 somethings, they're not going to school. And it's something that we touched on last week. They're not going to school. They're not going to trade schools. They're not doing any training. And a lot of them are just falling out of the job market. And so I don't know if you have a lot of 20 somethings in your life, but are you seeing this?
I don't know a lot of 20-year-olds, but I definitely don't know anybody who's not working. That's for sure. I don't even know how you could, I understand there's a lot of people being laid off, so that's different. I don't want to
Mhm.
mix the two, but I can't understand anybody in the current climate choosing not to work just because they
Mhm.
don't want to. I do acknowledge though that we were sold a dream of school and that you should go to college. You need to go to college. You have to go to college. But I think that people are starting to realize that's not necessarily the case unless you want to be a
Right.
doctor or a lawyer, something that requires schooling, a nurse,
Certification. Yeah.
yes, or certification. But I think that a lot of the younger generation wants to be creators or
Yes.
influencers
They want to be
or
like us.
yes, but we have 9 to 5s.
Yeah, we gotta go to work.
Yes, so I wonder how much that plays a role, but I'm honestly kind of shocked at that. And
Yeah,
what does that mean for the future? Does that mean I have to work until I'm 80? Because I'm trying to retire as soon as I hit 65, not a day later.
right, right. And what you just said, like that's part of my plan on why I choose certain destinations for vacation. Like, where could I retire when I'm 60 something years old if I
Hmm.
decide to retire in my 60s? Like, so all of the countries that I visit are possible retirement locations.
Yeah.
Of course I'm gonna have fun, but I'm like, yo,
Hmm.
I'm not trying to be in front of a keyboard 80 years
Not till
old.
I'm 80. Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that.
No.
And I don't mind coaching some kids, counseling some
Right.
kids, doing something in the
Yes.
community, but
Doing something
like,
fun
yeah, waking
that
up
you enjoy.
at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, getting on the road, driving. No, no,
No.
no, no, no.
Please, no, thank
So
you.
yeah,
And that's
and
a
so
good
also,
point too. If you're not working in your 20s,
mhm,
then how are you investing? Like, how are you even investing into a 401k or getting an employer match? Or are you investing in stock? Like, I'm going to say no for the
right,
majority.
you got no money.
Um, right. And how are they in debt if they haven't gone to school? They're not working. My assumption would be that they're staying with a loved one, like a parent or something like that.
It's consumer
So,
debt. A lot of these folks, like, I don't know if you notice, like, you have companies like Affirm, Buy Now, Pay
yes,
Later. People are buying things they
Klarna.
can't afford. Karna, they're buying things they can't afford, whether it's clothes, uh, new iPhone watches and iPhones, computers, tablets, and they're just putting themselves in debt. And they get some people, what the article did say, a lot of people are depressed, they have
Hmm.
anxiety issues, and so they don't pay their bills. It goes back to
Yeah.
something we talked about with the student loans. If you get the loans and you don't want to work, like, they're going to garnish your wages. But what if this person doesn't want to work? Um, you
Ain't
know,
nothing to garnish.
and then the garnish, you can garnish their iPhone that they purchased on Karna
Right.
or whatever. But it's crazy. But I did see another article a few weeks ago about how a lot of Gen Zers are deciding to become electricians, carpenters,
Okay.
plumbers. They're going into the blue collar fields because
Hmm.
it's less debt and it's more
Yes.
stable work.
Yes. And probably I would say less stress too than
Mhm,
like your typical corporate environment.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's going to always be politics in any work environment.
Hmm.
Um, I looked at the
Absolutely.
possibility of myself even becoming an electrician, and a lot of people are saying it has its physical tolls on the body.
Right.
If you're a lineman, you have to climb those utility poles when the uh,
Yep.
electrical system is down. If you're going over someone's house to do a job, and you know you got to go up and down the attic and go inside, cabinets and
Hmm.
deal with
Yeah, for
filthy
sure.
people and filthy houses. Some of that stuff is like, you rather not do it. It makes you want to do nine to
Hmm.
five instead of somebody's house or climbing up a utility pole. But
Yeah,
yeah, those
for
jobs have
sure.
physical demands.
Yeah. No, that's totally understandable. But we somebody needs to be working the jobs.
Yeah,
Somebody got to work.
we're
So
gonna roll in. I don't know if you've seen those robots that Elon Musk is working on.
I
They're
did.
like humanoid robots that can do laundry, can fold clothes,
Yes.
can wash dishes. So sort of like iRobot in real
Yeah.
life.
Yep.
So I
And
mean, that
that's
may
going to
be the
be a
future.
result because somebody has to be responsible to take your orders. Somebody has to be responsible for janitor services. Like
Yeah.
somebody has to do
So,
it. So
I don't know the name of that cartoon. I think, oh, the Jetsons, when they lived in like the future and they lived in the sky
hmm. Yes.
and they had a robot like doing like household chore. I
Yes.
think her name was Betsy or something with a B.
Something.
Um, yeah, but and it's funny. I think Tesla or Elon Musk or whoever, they said it. They're trying to roll these robots out in the next like 4 to 5 years, and they're going to
Soon.
be basically they're going to cost the same amount of a small car. So small
Okay.
cars, what,
I would figure that.
20,000?
Hmm.
Um, would you?
Well, now probably 25 to 30, but um I would I don't know. I'm leaning more towards I would
Mhm.
because this is my thought process. So like you take AI, right? When
Mhm.
everybody started to hear about AI, they were like, "Oh my gosh, like this is going to be terrible. This is going to, change the trajectory of life." In
Mhm.
me, my thought process was, okay, when the first computer came out, like you have your people who learn how to work it, then you have your people who did it. I feel like if you kind of get ahead of the curve on like AI and when they roll this new technology out, it kind of puts you ahead of stuff, right?
Mhm.
So I guess that would kind of be my thought process with the robot. Like once they roll it out, there is no going back. Like it's gonna be put into our society. We're gonna have no choice but to deal with it. So I'm leaning more towards I would get one, but I would lease
Mhm.
it obviously because I'm not dropping 20 or 30,000 dollars.
Right. All right. So we're gonna sell you a robot, $200 a month. It's gonna do your
Yep.
laundry. It's gonna drive you around. It's gonna if it can cook. I'm about one if it can
Yeah,
cook.
I know you getting one.
Man, I'm gonna sign up for it right now. Get on that early registration list. But if it can cook, I honestly I enjoy doing laundry. So I do my own
What?
laundry.
Oh
I like doing
no.
laundry.
I don't care about doing laundry. I hate folding stuff. I'm surprised that you said that you would get one though, because you're like all techie and
Mhm.
privacy and safety,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I
yeah,
get
I'm
it.
big on it. So yeah,
So I'm surprised that you would get one of those.
yeah, I get it, and I'll just probably like hang out with it. Take it to one of the steakhouses that I go. Take it to Walmart to give me some steak out of the wire mesh. Like, hey, take that steak out the wire mesh. But but no, I definitely if I have a option to be an early adopter and get one before everyone else gets one, oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. But I'll be
right.
afraid that it may like go crazy one day and just what they say when somebody goes crazy. What's the slang? When somebody go crazy, can't think of it.
I don't know.
Uh,
Act a
crash
fool.
out,
I don't
crash
know.
crash out.
Oh.
It may crash out on me. I don't want no robot crashing out on me. So
But you'll be super ahead of the curve, and obviously that data is
yeah.
what's gonna make it better too. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna
just
have to.
saying.
I'm gonna have to. If I get a male or female, may have to put a bag over their head so it's not like scanning my apartment and trying to figure out what's going on over here and listening and reporting back to Elon Musk what I'm doing in my house.
Yep,
Watching me.
your little phone spy. That's who is going to be telling.
Right,
You know how they
right,
say we all have a spy on the phone.
right.
That's who is going to tell
So
your information to.
right, leaking our details to our podcast before we go live. You got to watch these robots.
Exactly.
Gotta watch these robots. So, but yeah, I mean, if they roll it out, I'll definitely get one. I saw when I guess they were at a conference or they were showing some of the early prototypes, and the robot was like talking to people as if it was a normal person. Like,
I did
hey,
see that.
David, can you
Hmm.
make me a drink? And David's like, oh no, I'm just a robot. I can't drink. But I noticed the robots are short though. They like 5'3".
Do they need to
I
be
want to.
6 foot?
I ain't trying to hang with no short robot.
You
I want
trying
a
to use the
robot like
robot as a companion?
no. If I'm gonna hang with it, I want the robot to be my size. Like if I'm 6 feet, I want the robot to be 6 feet. If I'm 5'4", yeah, I want the robot to be 5'4". But I need somebody. I don't need no like little person next to me. It look like a kid.
You hang out with me?
You're a grown woman. People expect you
Okay.
to be
I'm
smaller than
not
me.
as tall as you though.
Well, according to you, we're the same height. That was the argument or the discussion a
Okay.
few months ago. You're the same height as me, and I'm like, what? I,
We're
I
not
know I
too
ain't the same
far
height as you.
off.
Yeah,
We're not too
okay.
far off.
Somebody will see us in public and be like, "Oh man, I thought you was a lot shorter." I'm like, "No, I'm not short." Okay. So this next story is something that you actually emailed me about, and I heard about it I think last night. Um, and it's around facing 20 years. So I know you have a little bit more details on this story than I do. So do you want to provide details or do you want me to provide the details?
Absolutely. I'll provide details. You fill in the gaps.
Okay, cool.
So I feel like we have kind of talked a little bit about the turkey leg cut before. Maybe we haven't, but
Oh,
no.
I never been. I never been.
So that's what I was gonna start with. Neither of us have been, so
You
we're
never
talking
been?
from out. I have never been to Turkey Lake Head. No, I had
I
no
thought it was
desire to
like
go.
a staple for everyone to go visit.
Tourist. I'm
My
not a
my mother
tourist.
even asked me about it. My mother's never even been to Houston, and she was like, "Have you been to Turkey Leg Hut?" And I'm like, "How do you even know about this place?"
So for one, I
Mm,
don't like turkey legs, and I
they
don't
dry.
like egregious lines like Truth. We've been to Truth before. We're waiting Truth's line. That's
Yeah.
true. The barbecue place, but
Yes, of course. Barbecue.
sitting in line for 2 hours for a
2
turkey
hours.
leg.
Oh
People used
no.
to stand in that line for a very long time. It would be
Mm,
wrapped like all the way down the street. But anyway, so anybody who's not familiar with the Turkey Leg Hut, it's located in a prime area, a very historic area of Houston, right
mm.
across the street from Bar 5015. You and I have been to Bar 5015 before.
Yeah.
This is where a lot of people frequent. Like a lot of people go to this strip and know this area quite well.
And
Obviously, a lot of
I've never been to bar 5115 sober.
that
I've
makes
never been in
sense.
I've never been there sober. I've
it
never been there sober.
it makes sense. But obviously, tourists are on the street as well. So the Turkey Leg Hut is now permanently
Oh,
closed. So Lynn used to be the previous co-owner, who now owns the Oyster Hut. So the Oyster Hut is also located very closely to the old Turkey Leg Hut and Bar 5015,
mhm.
as evident by the name. He is selling
Right.
primarily oysters. And there has actually been a lot of discourse about the oysters as well. Also, can be a very long wait time for the oysters. I don't believe that they sell anything but the oysters. I could be wrong about that though.
Mhm.
And the price is pretty hefty.
Oh, wow.
Um, so there has been a lot of talk about Lynn and how he does business in general. He's kind of always in the news for something.
Something.
Um, Most recently, he was in the news for calling out his employees for using their cell phone while on the clock.
Mhm,
And he was talking to them like they were somebody off the street and not his employees.
mhm.
And that was just a couple weeks ago. But this week, he is in the news for something totally different. A case stemming back from 2020, which is insane.
Yeah.
So it was alleged that, and it's still alleged because he's, innocent until proven guilty. But it was alleged that he had set fire to his own business, or not
Mhm.
his own business. I'm sorry, 5015. And as of just a few days ago, he was arrested in connection to that arson. So he allegedly hired a few people to
Goons.
set a few people to set
Goons.
the fire, and they were able to find some phone records of phone calls between Lynn and the goon set people of committing the arson. So he could face up to 20 years in jail, and that is that. So, what do you think about something from 2020 coming back to bite him in the butt in the middle almost of 2025?
As it should. I saw the video. I don't know if you saw the video. You saw a video, right?
The video of what?
Of the
The
fire.
arson? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I first heard the story, I'm like, okay, it's always something going on at Turkey Leg Hut. I've never been there, so I'm just like, okay, this is another issue. But when I saw the video, it's like, oh, this is beyond like not paying people, telling them to do their job. You're setting fire to a rival business with,
Yes.
that's arson, and you're using hired help. And
Yes.
so it 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 looked like something out of a movie at first. Like I said, like when I first saw the video, I saw the guys like with these gasoline containers, like dumping it all over like the patio. The patio's made of wood at 5115.
Yes.
Like I
Yes.
wasn't sober, but I knew I was standing on wood. I was on a patio. And
Yes.
so I watched the
This is
video. I'm
true.
like, what are these guys doing? And when they
Yeah.
set fire, the whole place exploded and it caused over $1 million, you know, all because somebody's like considered a rival of yours, a business rival. If somebody's a rival of mine, their business is down the street or next door, I'm not gonna attack them with fire because it's gonna come right back to me. Like somebody's
Oh,
gonna
and it
snitch.
did.
Yeah,
Yes,
5 years
and it
later.
did. But this is my thing. Houston is notorious for having so many restaurants, bars, clubs. He's not the only one selling turkey legs, so I'm not sure
Mhm.
if they just had their own personal beef because it couldn't
Right.
have been that there was another bar across the street. The line, I mean, we just said the line for Turkey Leg Hut had been long for a very long period of time. So maybe that was different in 2020. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
I'm pretty sure it was busy in 2020 as well. I mean, when
Yeah, it
anytime you
had to
mention,
be.
yeah,
It had to be because that's when I first started to kind of visit Houston, and people have been ranting and raving about Turkey Leg Hut for
right,
forever. So
right. Like I said, I've never been. My mother even knows about it. Her and her husband took a cruise, I think last year, and they asked me about, oh, what restaurant should we visit? Should we go to Turkey Leg Hut? I said, look, mom,
no,
I never been there. I don't know what's going on, but I'm glad she didn't
no,
go. Because I mean, I don't know, I don't know the demographics for that place, but I don't want my mom at a place like that. Especially if they
no,
if the stories about turkey leg hut are true, like folks talk about, you don't want your
yes,
parents in there. I'm
agreed.
not trying to see my mom in 5115, so I ain't, that ain't that ain't
No, there's a
for a
lot
60 year
of
old lady.
there's a
Older
lot of
people, older
yes.
people. Yeah, well, the first time
So
I went, I'm like,
she would fit
what is
in,
this?
but
Yeah, I saw
I
some.
don't think that's her demographic.
Yeah, I saw some folks that needed to be home with their grandkids when I think the first time I went to 5115. I'm like, yo, what is this? Like folks that are like
It's
50,
50
sixty years old.
15, not 51-15.
Something. This something 5015, 5115. But yeah, the story is just crazy. And I'm pretty sure he's gonna do the time. Oh, he may not do all of it, depending on what kind of lawyers he has.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's a lot of people that just don't like that guy. And Turkey Leg Hut was a Houston gem. So to see it come crumbling down like this.
Hmm. Yes,
There's other
I
places in
agree. That's
Houston that's
unfortunate.
that sell turkey legs, and
Yes.
those turkey legs are way too big. I mean, they were the size of my arm, so I'm like, I don't want to go there. I can't eat
I
all
don't
that
want no
meat.
turkey leg stuff with Alfredo and
Alfredo.
dirty rice
Oh,
and
it's food
yeah.
inside.
Yes, them turkey legs
Oh,
had like Alfredo with shrimp in it. Not nobody want to eat. I mean, a lot of people did, obviously, but
I want to
do
eat
we
it
care
now.
about our health?
You make it sound like that. I'm like, I didn't know
No.
it had shrimp inside. I'm like, I may need to go get some turkey leg. Yeah.
Honestly,
So,
okay. Let me not even front because there used to be this place in Dallas called Turkey Dam,
mhm,
and they did used to have stuffed turkey legs, and I did. They were real good. So I can't say that a stuffed turkey leg is not good, but
right.
I think it's all the associated press around Turkey Leg Hut that make me just be like, if they were to reopen, I don't think I could even go. They would have to be under like completely new
New-
management. Obviously,
Yeah.
Lynn won't be there, but yeah,
Right. And I think him and his wife had a divorce,
yes.
and that was public. It's just
I
a
think they're
mess.
still. I don't think they're fully divorced yet.
Yeah, it's
So
it's it's a mess. I mean, he was in the news for having inappropriate relationships with the staff.
he's always in the news. Bad press.
This
Bad press.
sounds like one of those shows you watch with the
Hmm.
housewives. Like this sounds like one of those like reality shows. So maybe they need
It
to
sounds like a Tyler
op-
Perry movie to me.
yeah, maybe they need to reopen Turkey Leg Hut and put some cameras inside and put
Yes.
it on
Good
what
call.
put it on, what is it called, Bravo or Bravo or something like that, one of them networks.
Bravo. It will go
Yeah,
right on
because
Zeus Network.
yeah, or Tubi, put it on Tubi. You never know.
Tubi will work too.
Yeah, I heard Tubi got some nice flicks on there now. So, but yeah,
We'll
I
be
didn't have an
discussing this again, I'm
yeah,
sure. We'll be talking
yeah,
about this in the future.
I didn't have an opportunity to go to Turkey Leg Hut, Breakfast Club, um,
You
like
haven't
all of
been to
the.
Breakfast Club?
No, I never. I walked past it one day, but I'd never been inside.
What the heck? We'll have to make that happen the next time you
Yeah,
are in
you
Houston.
talking about lines? That place
No, that line
is with
moves.
that place has lines.
The
So
line moves fast, very
so
fast. Like you'll be in the line for like 10 to 15 minutes, maybe.
okay,
It's
okay.
faster than truth.
Yeah, but truth has the truth barbecue. So
So so is Breakfast Club. You like chicken
okay.
wing? You like catfish?
Yeah, I eat some catfish. I haven't had it in a while.
Okay.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
if
we
it's
gonna take
blackened.
you there.
If it's blackened, I would
No,
love some blackened catfish.
I like mine fried.
No, so not
Hard.
both. I do both. So, but we need to get them to put some fried hard catfish inside of the turkey leg and give it to you.
Nah. Turkey leg is a no for me.
You eat that, you're gonna be in a food coma for 2 days. You're gonna be
Yeah. Yeah.
you fall you falling
Literally.
falling asleep.
I do
Um,
hope to see them bounce back though. At least the wife. Like I would
yeah,
love to see her, change things around, stop the bad publicity, or maybe own it and let someone else manage it since they can't get it right. But I would
that
love
may
to
be
see
the
it come
best
back.
thing. That may be the best thing, and also hire new staff. I don't know if the staff was poorly trained, but I mean, you're as good as your management and your staff, and they have to
Yep.
both to be trained because if they have the wrong attitude and they bring in the old
Hmm.
culture, you can change the name to Oyster Leg Hut. It's still gonna be the same thing.
Exactly. Yep. Clearly,
So,
we see that with the oyster hut. But
yep, definitely, definitely. Yep, and that was the last story. Anything else?
no, I think those were some good topics. Ended off on a funny note.
Yeah, definitely. Go visit Oyster Leg Hut now. All right, so if you haven't done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and our next episode will be Wednesday, or will you be out of the country Wednesday?
I think I'm gonna stay local.
Okay,
So
all right,
Wednesday will
all right.
be our next show.
Okay, so the $300,000 that she found, she spent
It's
it in Aruba,
gone.
is gone. All right, thanks
Cayman,
for joining.
Cayman Islands.
Okay, all right, thanks for joining. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you guys Wednesday.
Bye.